All right, here we are. We're going to draw this part together. Okay, this is job 4-1. Hopefully this video helps you guys understand this concept a little bit deeper and get you through the first drawing while I'm absent. You guys can do the rest on your own. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do when we're starting to draw an orthographic projection is we need to make sure that we have those layers that we talked about in the last video. So we have object, center, hidden, and projection. To create layers or to change your layer, you're going to come up to the layers tab here, hit this drop down and choose the correct layer. Now you'll notice I don't have any layers here. There's no colors, there's no center, there's nothing. All right, and yours should be like this as well. So we need to create them first. So to create a new layer, you're going to choose layer properties here. This box will pop up. All right, and to create a new layer, you're going to hit this button right here. It'll look like that. So I'm going to start creating these layers. The first one that we need is the object layer. All right, the color for an object layer is white and our line type is continuous. So this one we don't have to change anything. The next one I'll make is projection. Okay, that's going to be our yellow layer that connects different things. So I'll change it to yellow. All right, and we want that line type to stay continuous as well. All right, next we'll have hidden. All right, hidden is green. All right, and this time we're going to change the line type from continuous. I'm going to change it to hidden. All right, so when you hit that button, continuous there, okay, this box will pop up. We need to hit load, then scroll down. It's in alphabetical order. We're going to go down to hidden. All right, there's a couple different ones. Make sure you choose the first one, hit OK, select it, and then hit OK again. You should see the word hidden pop up here in line type. Okay, now we're going to create our center layer. Our center lines are red. And then our line type is not hidden. We want to load again. I'm going to scroll to center. All right, remember it's long line, short line, long line, short line. I'll hit OK. I'll make sure I choose center on my list, hit OK, and I should see center pop up. All right, so we have our layers created. I can close this box, and if I click here, you can see we now have some choices. So at any time, if I draw a line and I want to change the layer, I can select the line, come to my dropdown and choose a different line like center, and you can see it updates that line to be the correct color and the correct line type. All right, so what I'm going to start with is drawing one of the views, the front, top, or right for this part here. Again, this is part 4-1. So I'm going to start by drawing the front view. All right, so if you can imagine, I'm standing here and I'm looking at this part. When I see the front view, I would see a rectangle. All right, a lot of students will draw like a diagonal rectangle, but think about if you were looking straight at that part. All right, this view would just be a rectangle that's 3 inches by 1.5 inches. All right, so I'm going to start by changing to my object layer. I'm going to grab a line and I'll draw this box. It's 3 by 1.5. Okay, so there's my front view. So now that I've drawn the front view, I'm going to go ahead and start drawing the top view. If I was floating up above this part looking down at it, I would see a rectangle along the outside of the part with a rectangular hole running through the middle. So there's 2 rectangles here. All right, the first one is 2 by 3, and then the one in the middle is 1 by 2. All right, so I'm going to draw this one real fast. And the key here is that I draw it above the front view, but also in line with it. So I'm hovering over this corner, and as I move up, I get that object snapping line, and I can start drawing it here, and it should line up correctly. All right, so it's 3 by 2 by 3. All right, and there's my outside of the box, and then I also have that 2 by 1 hole in the middle. So I'm going to go 2 by 1 by 2 by 1, and then I'll use our diagonal trick to move that box inside and in the center of this other box. All right, so move. I'm going to pick it up. Move. I'm going to pick it up from the middle and drop it off in the middle, and then delete that diagonals. All right, so there is my top view. Remember, if I was hovering up above this part, if I was floating up above here and looking down at it, I would see the outer box with the inner box on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to skip the right view for right now. What I want to do is prove that these line up correctly. So I'm going to go to my projection line. All right. And then draw straight down between the two views to prove that the top is the same length as the front, right? So because these yellow lines go straight down, I know that this line and this line are the same length, which they should be because technically they're the same line, right? This edge is the top of my right side view and it's the bottom of my top view. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'll draw the right side view. It's 2 by 1.5. All right, so I'm going to stick with my projection lines for now, and I'm just going to draw it over. It does not matter how long you make this projection line, but they do need to be the same length between views. So I'm going to copy the bottom one up. All right, I'll switch to my object line type here, and I'm going to draw from here to there, right? That's 1.5. It's 2 wide, and then it's 1.5 long. Okay, so there's my right side view. All right, so now this is the hardest part, and this is the part that's going to trick most of you up. All right, I'm going to start doing my projection lines around that angled line. Okay, that angled line is called a miter line. All right, it's 45 degrees, and it helps me connect this right side view to the top view. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to my projection lines. All right, and the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this corner with that corner. All right, so I start here in this corner. I'm going to hover over this one and come straight over. And I should get those projection or those object snapping lines. All right, and I should be able to just draw it straight over and kind of create this box in the middle of my drawing here. All right, so from that corner now, I can go ahead and do my 45-degree line. So I'm going to start here. I'll hit tab. I'm going to type 45, hit tab again, and you just want to make this line very long. All right, again, this line is called a miter line, and it helps us kind of turn the corner from this view to that view. All right, so now that I have my miter line, I can go ahead and project my other edge up. Once I hit it, I'm going to go left and connect that outer line. So if you draw this line up and come over it and it doesn't connect there, then something between these two views is wrong. You've drawn something too big or something too small. Okay, so now that I have the overall size and shape of my part connected with those projection lines, I now need to switch over and show my hidden lines. Okay, so remember, hidden lines are like our x-ray vision. So if I'm standing here looking at the front of this box, I cannot see the hole. So what I need to do is project down the edges of the hole to the front view so I can show with those hidden lines where the hole would be. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stick on my projection layer here, and I'll draw it straight down until I hit the front view. Okay, so I now know that the hole, if I had x-ray vision, would start here, go down, and it would end here and go down. So I'll go ahead and switch to those hidden lines real quick. All right, and I'll draw where that hole would be located. Okay. All right, so I've shown that hole on the front view. I also have to show it on this right side view because if I was standing over here looking at it, I wouldn't see the hole, so I need to show where it would be. So I'm going to switch back to projection, project over to my miter line, come down, and do the same thing for the top of the hole. Okay, so now I know when I'm going to do my hidden lines that it starts here, right, and the other half of the hole is there. Okay, so this part is technically done now. All right, it's complete. I've projected everything correctly. I'm showing my hidden lines. One thing that students will screw up, so hopefully you guys don't, is this is a hole, but it's a square hole. All right, so there are no center lines on this part. There are only center lines on circular holes. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to let you guys work on job 4-2. In 4-2, the part is round and there's a circular hole, so there will be center lines on part 2. All right, good luck. Help each other. Do good things. Be good people.